Good morning, Year 5. Welcome to your second week of virtual maths learning. Today, we are going to be recapping a topic you covered in your last lesson with Mrs. Moore last Thursday. Looking at the image on your screen, you've probably guessed we will be recapping quadrilaterals. As you know, quadrilateral simply means four sides. All quadrilaterals are 2D. They have four sides. They are closed shapes, meaning that their lines all join together, and all the lines are straight. So let's recap the names of some quadrilaterals. Use the word bank and what you remember from Mrs. Moore's lesson to help you. How did you do? Well done if you were able to label all 5 of these quadrilaterals correctly. And don't worry if you got any of them wrong or mixed any of them up. Have a go, go back a slide and have another go and see how you do your second time. So before we move on, let's have a quick recap about parallel lines. Lines are parallel if they are always the same distance apart and will never meet. So to recap that, they are always the same distance apart and they are never touching. These two diagrams show two lines that are running parallel to each other. The red line is parallel to the blue line in both of these examples. So Year 5, here's your first little task. Read the statement from the little girl and decide whether you think it is true or false. So the statement says, this quadrilateral has 2 pairs of parallel sides and 2 right angles. Is that true or false? The statement is false because this quadrilateral is a trapezium. Trapeziums only have 1 pair of parallel sides and they have no right angles. Here is another true or false. This quadrilateral is a square as all sides are of equal length. What do you think? Is that statement true or false? Well done if you said the statement was false. This quadrilateral is not a square, it is a rhombus. Although all the sides are of equal length, this shape has no right angles, whereas a square has 4 right angles. Before you move on to your independent learning, let's review the names and properties of these quadrilaterals. So first we have the trapezium. It has 1 pair of parallel lines and no right angles. Then we have the parallelogram. It has 2 pairs of parallel lines and 2 pairs of lines that are equal length. Then we have the rectangle. It has 2 pairs, again, of parallel lines, here and here. It has 4 right angles. and it has two pairs of lines that are equal lengths. This line has an equal length to that line, and this one with this one. Then we have the square. All four sides are of equal length. It has 4 right angles. And it has 2 pairs of parallel lines. And finally, we have the rhombus, which looks a bit like a pushed over square. And it has no right angles. All of its sides are equal, of equal length. And it has 2 pairs of parallel lines. This line runs parallel to this line, and this line runs parallel to this line. Okay, Year 5, this is the first task on your worksheet. It says, copy the table into your exercise book and fill in each box with a different quadrilateral. If you have a printer, then I'm more than happy for you to print off the table and to stick it in your book. But the point is you need to put a different quadrilateral into each section of the table. So let's have a think. So on this side, it says 4 right angles, and here it's 4 equal sides. So in this box, we need to put a quadrilateral that has 4 equal sides and 4 right angles. Now I think there's only one quadrilateral that will go in here, and that is a square. So you're going to do this neatly with a ruler. I'm going to do this quite messily with my laptop. So I would draw a square and put it in there. Yours will be much neater than that. Then you'll move on. You could do this one, or you could move down here. So you could think of a quadrilateral that has no right angles, but then it needs to go with this one. So 4 equal sides, no right angles. I think you know which one we're thinking of. I think that would be a rhombus. So I would put a rhombus in here because I know that rhombuses have 4 equal sides. But they have no right angles. So I've used my square, I've used my rhombus, so I need to fill in the other boxes. But there's also a second part to the question. It says, which box cannot contain a quadrilateral? So once you've done a few, you'll start to realise that one of these areas, one of these boxes can't contain a quadrilateral, and I need you to explain why. So Year 5, as you will see, your second task on today's worksheet is to take what you know about drawing quadrilaterals and using only quadrilaterals to create a robot. So here is my example. I have created this robot using only quadrilateral shapes, and it's very important in your task that you label which shapes you've used. So for his arms, I have drawn parallelograms. For his torso or his stomach, I've used a rectangle. Same for his neck. I did a rhombus for a mouth. I've done a square head and square eyes. And I've done a trapezium pair of pants for him and trapezium legs. So I might add some other shapes for his feet. Maybe I'll do some rhombus ears. So I know the rhombus has 4 equal sides. So I'm going to make them 1 centimetre. It's 1 centimetre. I'll go to here. And then I'll do another centimetre. And then I will close them just about a centimetre. And I might just put an R in here so that I know it's a rhombus. And I'll do, maybe because he's a robot, we shouldn't call them ears. And in fact, they can be very short antennae. So I need to make this rhombus have 4 equal length sides. A rhombus. It looks a little bit like a bear. It's meant to be a robot. There's no reason it can't be a robotic bear. So that is your task. One of your tasks. There is another task, but this is task 2. Here is my example. I am certain yours will be much better. And I'd also like you to colour them in because these will be fantastic and I can't wait to see them.